It's time for the Tony Lewis Show. Learn all about Jasper Wildcat football. This week's show is sponsored by Milligan Communications, Street Dreams, and the Southwestern Indiana Sports Network, powered by Milligan Brosmer Communications. Go Wildcats!
Wanting to scan those old videos, films, or audio to DVD? We'll look no further than Milligan Communications. We can also scan your old pictures, slides, and negatives to picture quality as well. With thousands of happy customers, let Milligan Communications help put your treasured memories on a digital media. Call Milligan Communications today at 812-630-2449. Milligan Communications, capturing your yesterdays.
This is your IHSAA. This is your state. This is your high school. This is your athletic association.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and we're here to make sure that all of this remains yours.
This is your state. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
Hey everyone, Joey Chestnut here, world champion competitive eater. I follow Southwest Indiana Sports Network, and if you're hungry for sports, you should follow them too.
Follow the Southwest Indiana Sports Network at swisportsnetwork.com or search Roku for our channel at SW Indiana Sports Network.
Hello and welcome to this week's Tony Lewis Show. And Coach, last week you had a bye week, and why don't you go over a little bit about what the Wildcats were doing last week?
Well, last week we tried to take advantage and get better, and I felt like at the end of the week on Thursday, after our last practice, I told our players we got better this week, which is something that we strive for every week. But with it being a bye week, you never know how the kids are going to respond with being off school and it not being a normal schedule. But we actually practiced in the morning. We lifted on Monday and Wednesday in the morning and then practiced. And Monday we watched film. And then Tuesday, Thursday we practiced in the morning as well. And, again, I feel like it was a good opportunity to go over a lot of different looks that we're going to get defensively from Memorial. We didn't know at the time we were going to be playing Memorial, but we felt like we had a good chance of playing Memorial. So we did concentrate a little bit more on how they played defense. And then offensively, for them, we were able to show a lot of their different looks that they give offensively in terms of their passing game and running game. So overall, thought it was a really productive week. Felt like it was good to get a couple more of our kids healed up a little bit better. We're slowly getting most of our guys back. We got a couple guys still out. We've got Mason Jagoins out with a concussion, and Luke Heichelbeck is still out with concussion. Hopefully we'll get them back soon. We were able to get Tyson Rue back last week from an ankle injury, and, we're limiting Grant Young's reps because of his ankle still.
And I know some people say they'd rather keep playing, but, a week off, not only if you have injury, just if you're playing football, it's a violent sport, it's good to have a week off.
It is, and we did a lot of things against Bags. We didn't go live per se against each other, so that was good. Everything was pretty controlled. It was and it was again probably about 3/4 speed, which again hopefully helped us heal up a little bit. But we felt like mentally and overall we got better.
And I know we've talked to some of your staff this year, but staff is very important, and you've got a good one. And why don't you go over who's on your staff?
Yeah, we've got, starting with Joe Shelton. He's our defensive coordinator, does a great job, also works with our linebackers and offensive line. Gavin Licklider is our offensive line coach. He also works with our defensive line. He's our JV head coach. Gavin is probably one of the hardest working guys. He just does things that on his own to help other people out. Just a great assistant. Matt Bajork is our offense coordinator, works with our quarterbacks and helps with DBs. Luke Keller is a guy that helps on Friday night. He's somebody that came over from Spring Valley, actually went to Jasper, was a good player, played at Hanover. He's currently teaching at Princeton, but he's able to help us on Friday nights. Also, my brother, Teej Lewis, is also able to help us on Friday nights. He's a teacher at Evansville North. He works with our D-line and our offensive line. Braxton Mann, works obviously at the McDonald's, several McDonald's. The man's owned several McDonald's, and he's there when he can be there to help out with practice, and also on Friday nights he works with our DBs and our receivers. Jared Lands, our head freshman coach, does a great job with them, and he works with our running backs and also works with our DBs. Keandre Peak works with our JV. He also helps out with the freshmen. He works with the running backs and also works with the linebackers. And then Joe Buck, he works with our freshman team. He's the defensive coordinator for our freshman team, works with the D-line and also with the receivers. So all those guys do a great job, and first and foremost, they have the kids' best interests at heart.
And, and the interesting thing, listening to those names, sitting here listening to those names is, a lot of Jasper greats, but you also have a lot of people that are teaching another system.
Yeah, and it's not, we'd love to have more coaches that were inside the building. It's always good to have more coaches inside the building to keep an eye on what your players are doing and how they're acting in class, and, hopefully building a good environment to hopefully create good young men that are going to become good husbands and good community members. So, we can't always get all the teachers that we'd love to have in terms of helping us in the building and also being coaches. So, a lot of those guys do work at other places and get here when they can get here.
And, I had three football players as sons, and, and I had say nothing bad about their coaches. They were good coaches, but also, if they could have played for you, it would have been great too, because I think you did a great job.
Well, I appreciate it, and a lot of that credit goes to our assistants. As any head coach will tell you, you're only as good as your assistants, and you're only as good as your support staff. We've got a great group of managers led by Jordan Fisher, who has been a manager for a long time, and we got a lot of managers that even come back and help, and we got high school managers that do a great job as well.
And you can listen to the Tony Lewis Show. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors. You're listening to Southwest Indiana Sports Network, powered by Milligan Boastford Communications.
Wanting to scan those old videos, films, or audio to DVD? We'll look no further than Milligan Communications. We can also scan your old pictures, slides, and negatives to picture quality as well. With thousands of happy customers, let Milligan Communications help put your treasured memories on a digital media. Call Milligan Communications today at 812-630-2449. Milligan Communications, capturing your yesterdays.
This is the most important, amazingest game ever played in the universe. The pitcher is fierce. Danny Roberts is up at bat. And the crowd goes wild! He just won the game! Let's go! Yes!
We protect the car you drive.
Go get him, Danny.
And the dreams that drive you. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully. Dream fearlessly.
Want to know what I like best about playing basketball for my high school? I like it because it's a place where my friends get to see me play. I like it because I'm playing for someone besides myself. I'm playing for everybody in my school and every person in my community.
Indiana high school sports. They're more than just a game.
Come and see me play.
Hey everyone, Joey Chestnut here, world champion competitive eater. I follow Southwest Indiana Sports Network, and if you're hungry for sports, you should follow them too.
Follow the Southwest Indiana Sports Network at swisportsnetwork.com or search Roku for our channel at SW Indiana Sports Network.
And we're joined by WJTS play-by-play man, Craig Schneider. Craig, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing great. You know, it's sexual week, so I can't be doing good bad. You know,
I know
a lot of fun things, and you know, get to play Memorial. We played them at the beginning of the year, first game. We're playing them this week, and you know, what do you see differently? I'm sure you've watched some of the Memorial tape. What have you seen different from Memorial? You know, back when we played them at the season opener till now.
Well, they've definitely improved. There's no doubt about that. They lost their first 6 games. You know, obviously the first one to Jasper, 34-10, and they lost to Evansville North, where they were shut out 14-0. They did make the change where Matthew Fisher, who's a sophomore, he moved the quarterback, and Caleb Elsterman, who was their starting quarterback all of last year in the first couple games this year, he actually moved to a wide receiver spot. And Matthew Fisher, I mean, he threw for over 1,300 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 7 picks. And in fact, Caleb Elsterman, in their leading receiver, where he had 35 catches for 450 yards and 4 touchdowns, along with his brother Luke Elsterman, who had 405 yards and 3. So that was a big thing. But also Porter Road did not play in the Jasper game. He was a transfer from Central, and he was ineligible for the first couple games there. But since then, I mean, he's rushed for 831 yards and 6 touchdowns, and he's just a big key to their offense, to kind of give them balance between passing and running. Now, one thing on their quarterback spot, though, against Boise, and I didn't hear if, you know, maybe Fisher was injured or anything like that. Maybe Coach Lewis knows what's going on there, but Elsterman actually went back into the quarterback spot against Boise. You know, 6 of 8 passing for 157 yards and 3 touchdowns. But you know, that game, when you looked at it, you know, you expected Memorial to win. They did win 52-20. But you know, there's some different spots. But if Elsterman is back in that quarterback spot against Jasper, you know, I think that's an advantage for Jasper because we really shut him down the first time around. You know, in that game, he was just 10 of 26 passing for 86 yards and threw 2 picks. So he really struggled there. And even, you know, their total offense struggled as well. I mean, they were only able to rush for 102 yards with Baker Donovan rushing for 46 in that game versus the Wildcats, who rushed for 307 yards against him and pretty well dominated him on the ground. So, you know, there are some changes in Memorial, and that's just kind of the key with them. Every year they get better and better as the season goes on. So I expect a tougher matchup once we face them Friday night.
And I think Coach Lewis said that they held Fisher out because of a sprained ankle last week. So I don't know if he'll be expected to come back, and if he'll be full strength, he comes back. But I think they're expecting him back.
Okay, yeah. So if he's back again, you know, he's done an outstanding job and pretty well has led them on their winning streak. I mean, they won. They won 4 in a row before they lost to Rice, but then since then they've won another 3. So yeah, if he's back in that spot, they're going to have all their pieces in the right, you know, to the puzzle that they're going to be ready to go against Jasper. So that's another thing, you know, because again, that Elsterman. The other thing too with Caleb, I would expect, you know, maybe they'll run some trick plays if he is in that wide receiver spot. So the Wildcats going to have to be, you know, keying in on things like that as well.
And I'll tell you what, looking at Memorial's schedule and Jasper's schedule, it seems very similar to how they're both peaking at the right time.
Oh, there's no question. Yeah. And again, you know, with Jasper, you know, at one particular thinking, my gosh, this might be a losing season, or looking especially after that Mater Dei game. But since then we've won 4 straight, and and with that streak there, because again, Wunderlich for Mater Dei pretty well did the Wildcats in that 27-7 win. But once we started facing other quarterbacks, we did a lot better, especially against Vincennes, where Xander, the quarterback for Vincennes, we basically shut him down where he really got kind of get into the flow of the game. We picked him off 3 times, and again, Xander Hunt's been one of the top quarterbacks in the conference this year. So if Jasper can do the same thing to disrupt their quarterback play and just get after him and force him into mistakes, talking about the Memorial game, of course, I really think that's going to be a key to Jasper. But I think defense is going to be important, and just have a powerful running like we did first time around.
And you look at the stats of Memorial, and the thing that's interesting is I'm trying to pull it up here. I hit the wrong button. Is Elsperman, the quarterback, does have 35 catches on the year.
Yeah, again, when they made that change there to at a wide receiver spot, it kind of became 1-2 punch with himself and his brother Luke, where both of them had 35 catches on the season. So, it just adds another offensive dimension. But, the thing, too, with Memorial defensively, they, other than Rice, no team scored more than 2 touchdowns against them. Well, I guess the Castle game, too. It was 28-19 there. But, I think that their defense just improved as well. But, again, we're just going to have to really dominate the line of scrimmage, and we're going to need every bit of those 300 yards that we got the first time around on the ground. And then, the fact that we have Grant Young back. Grant had a really good game in that night. 10 rushes for 61 yards. He was 69 passing for 94 yards and a touchdown. And, again, in that first half against Vincennes, he pretty well set the tone for that win. Just number one, just to have leadership back on the field, but also just his ability and, to be on a run and half the football. So I think Grant Young will be a key. And then, of course, the Wildcat rush be another factor for the Wildcat offense to pretty well dominate this ball game.
And when I was talking to Coach Lewis, I told him, I said, sometimes you don't like the bye because you're wanting to keep playing, but with this team, be able to get them a week healthy here is great.
Oh, no question about it. Because again, guys like Grant and others that are returning, it seems like Bear has done a really good job of getting back into the flow of the season, both not just defensively, but offensively, because again, utilizing him in that position, running counters, being able to throw to him and different things there, I think it's really important, but he seems to be 100% back. I'm sure that Grant's still tweaking through some things, but again, just a week off has got to be nothing but a positive for him. But, the other thing with the bye too is that, Jasper, I guarantee, spent 2 weeks preparing for Memorial. We knew they were going to be bossy, and they actually did. So when you get 2 weeks to prepare for a team, you can really analyze it. You get down there. I'm sure all of our coaching staff and some of our players were down there scouting Memorial last week. So, they got firsthand. But, and if they bring back Matthew Fisher, that's just a totally different offense, totally different team that we're going to see Friday night as opposed to when Caleb Elfstrom was the quarterback.
And, when you look at Memorial stats, you see sophomore Fisher, the quarterback, at the top of the list, and you see Luke Elsperman, also a sophomore. Memorial's going to have those two for 2 more years, but we're also going to have a bunch of players for 3 more years because since Coach Lewis played some freshmen this year.
Oh yeah, there's no question. Both teams, and that's the thing with programs like Jasper Memorial, and I'm sure it's the same case with Rice and some of the other top tier teams in the conference is that we've got really good numbers, and with that we also utilize, especially like sophomores. We've always played sophomores every year. This is probably the first time that we've had so many key freshman players on our varsity team, but again, we've just not really missed a beat guys, and especially in the quarterback position with Max Butel. You saw him come back in for the second half of the Vincennes game and play extremely well. And of course, all the contributions that we're getting from Ross Dawkins and Elliott Smith. But we also, again, other players, that are underclassmen. You've got Carter Hallsworth, who's a senior, and other players, and especially that offensive line. We've got a lot of coming back too.
And if you miss the game, you can always watch the next day on WJTS. When are you and Bobby on TV?
On WJTS, we air it at 10 a.m. on Saturdays, and then again at 7 p.m. on Sunday evenings. So, again, just the next morning after the football game, you can watch it on WJTS and, even on cable outlets as well, with and then also on YouTube too. We usually have it posted on YouTube either by Monday or no later than Tuesday. So that gives you a chance to watch it there if you miss it on the weekend.
And I hope that you and Bob are road warriors, because I think talking to Coach Lewis, I think we're homers here at the Southwest Indiana Sport Network. When we win, we will be playing at Wrights, and then when we win that, we'll be getting to play at home again in the regional.
Oh wow! Okay, well you're really looking ahead.
Yeah, we're homers.
And the thing is, you look at the first week of the sectional 24. Obviously, Jasper got the bye. Everything pretty well played out as planned or as expected. Memorial dominated Bossy. Boonville beat Harrison, which I expected that, but not as soundly as what they did. I mean, they were pretty sharp in their football game, winning that 41-21. And then, of course, Wrights, easily took care of Central. So everything played out the way you expected it. So the second round is really interesting. Let's see, that Wrights game, Boonville game, that's at Boonville, yeah. So that should be an interesting matchup there because, again, Boonville's a really good football team, and, Wrights hasn't seen that this year, so that might give them some tips. But, again, everybody's really going to be keyed on the Jasper Memorial game because, again, that's a matchup, and that was the one we were hoping last year would happen. I think it would have come into play if Jasper made it to the championship game last year, but unfortunately we got knocked off by Northview in the first round. But, I think all eyes are really going to be Jasper Memorial game.
Well, Craig, have a good call of the game.
All right, well, appreciate it, Joe. Thank you.
And you've been listening to the Tony Lewis Show on Southwest Indiana Sports Network, powered by Milligan Bros Communications. We'll be back after the message from our sponsors. You have been listening to the Tony Lewis Show. Join us every week to learn more about Jasper Wildcat football. This week's show is brought to you by Milligan Communications, Street Dreams, and the Southwestern Indiana Sports Network, powered by Milligan Brosmer Communications. See you next week.
When you think sporting goods, think no further than All Star Sports in Ferdinand. Custom embroidery, screen printing, team uniforms, sports equipment, and sports apparel and shoes. We have it all. Give Brad a call today at 812-367-1618 or visit them in the Country Plaza Shopping Center in Ferdinand. All Star Sports is open Monday through Friday 10 to 7 and Saturday 9 to 4. All Star Sports, when you're thinking sporting goods.
And we're back on the phone. You get to take on Evansville Memorial, and you played them for your season opener. What's a little bit of the difference between Evansville Memorial from the beginning of the season and the end of the season?
Well, I think, that just like us, they've moved some people around personnel-wise. they've had injuries early on in the year, and they got some of their guys back. Their tailback, that's their current tailback, number 6, great kid that transferred over from Central. Great running back. They're trying to get him the ball more. Obviously, he's a big part of their offense. They want to run the football a little bit more now that the playoffs are starting. That's kind of their MO. They want to kind of run the football and run play action off of it. They switched to a different quarterback. They went to a younger kid named Fisher. However, he rolled his ankle a little bit against Castle. Did not play this past week against Bossy. Their original quarterback, Elsperman, played, number 13. So it'll be interesting to see. As we told our kids, it really doesn't matter who the quarterback is. They're both very competent, good throwing quarterbacks. If Elsperman's in, he's a little bit more of a running threat than the Fisher kid, who's number 2. But either way, they're both very capable quarterbacks. They do a great job. Offensively, again, they're going to run the football. They're going to run screens, whether it's funnel screens to the wide receivers or tailback screens to number 6. And then defensively, they've done a great job over the last few weeks of playing really good team defense. Did a great job shutting Castle down early in their first half against their rival Castle, and played really good defense against Boston as well.
And, this should be a great game because 2 powerhouse programs from Southwest Indiana who have a lot of tradition.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I always feel grateful and fortunate to be at Jasper, because it's a football program that expects you to win, that expects good things, and you want to be at a place as a coach, you want to be at a place that has high expectations, and also we have great community support here. So, and Memorial's the same way. They've obviously had some deep runs in the playoffs, won some state championships, and had some state runner-ups. So, they're a great program. We were fortunate enough to get them the first game, and we're hoping to play as well or better the second game.
And I probably should know this, but on the other side of the bracket is Wrights. Who does Wrights play this week?
Wrights plays Boonville at Boonville. Boonville's having a good year. Boonville beat Harrison pretty soundly last week. And again, Wrights has to travel to Boonville. It looks like, just from the short little video I saw on TV, Boonville has a heck of a quarterback. So again, Wrights it doesn't look like it's going to be a cakewalk for Wrights. But I think with the SIAC schedule, I would give Wrights a little bit of the advantage because of the schedule they've played.
And what are the possible scenarios for us to be back at home at Jerry Brewer Stadium next week?
Well, my understanding would be if we happen to win, I think the only way we would be at home is if Boonville beats Wrights. I think that's the only way we'd be at home. If not, and we win and Wrights wins, we're at the bowl in Evansville. And then obviously if we were able to win that game, then we would host the regional, I believe.
Well, Coach, good luck this week, and let's go beat Memorial.
Thank you. Hey, go Wildcats.
And you've been listening to the Tony Wood Show on the Southwest Indiana Sports Network, powered by Morgan Bush Communications. We'll see you next week.